Hi, my name is Ryan Kohler, CEO of ApplicantPro and Hiring Guru, and today we're going to talk about how restaurants can get applicants in locations where they struggle. Make sure you stick around to the end where I'm going to talk about a tool that will help you jumpstart your hiring results that you'll be able to download. All right, so I brought this box here, and today's going to be a little bit different. This video is going to kind of show you the method behind my madness, and since we're talking about restaurants, I guess we can say how the sausage is made. The goal here is to show you how to think outside the box, because a lot of times that's where we get stuck. We get stuck by thinking the same way every single time. We don't think there's a solution outside of the things we've tried, and so then we just give up. So the other night, I'm kind of a sucker for steak. So the other night I went and I ate steak with one of my friends, and it was kind of like a trade. I got steak and he got a solution to one of his problems. He works for a restaurant chain who's struggling. They say, look, at certain restaurant locations, we get a lot of good applicants, but at others, we struggle. They're struggling so much that they're flying employees from here in Utah out to Minnesota to work at this one restaurant. It's costing them over $100,000 a month to do that. Flights and hotels and per diem and all that stuff just to try to solve the problem. And let's be honest, it's not a solution, it's just a Band-Aid. Surprisingly enough, there was a very unique solution for it that could be tried out tomorrow, but nobody had thought of it because it was so far outside of the norm. So let's break down the problem. I'm gonna actually walk you through how my mind works, because I'm a little bit crazy here, of going and solving this problem. So here's where we start. We've got a restaurant with multiple locations, and in some locations they get good applicant flow and have no problem hiring, and in a few others they struggle. We're talking struggle to the point of flying people in to do the job. That's crazy. That is completely not sustainable. So what we do is we have to break down where the problem is, right? And so I have kind of an approach to how we do this. It's a three-step approach of we ask why, we ask what if, and we ask how might we. So we'll start with the why. Why is this happening? Usually what you need to do is you need to compare. Why is it that we can get applicants at one location but not at another location? And asking that why, what we boiled it down to was locations that were near a college had no problem getting applicant flow. But if the location was a ways away from a college, 5, 10, 15 miles away from a college, they struggled to get applicant flow. Clearly at a restaurant, your kind of core hiring base are a bunch of college kids who need jobs in order to eat and party, right? And so that was their problem set. Nobody had stopped to ask why, because it was just kind of a given that if we ran ad, we'd get applicants, and if we didn't get applicants, there was nothing really we could do about it. But we boiled the problem down to this one simple thing. Close to the college equaled applicant flow, away from the college meant that they didn't. Now that we know who our target audience is, it's college kids, we can start solving for it. Well, what if kids who are on a college campus are seeing that location and eating there? Maybe that's why so many of them apply, and the location across town they never actually go to. Maybe that's why they don't get applicants. What if college kids are able to walk from their dorms to work and they don't have cars, but that location that's 5 or 10 miles away, they can't really justify applying to that job because they won't be able to get there and back. I know some college kids have cars, but a bunch of others don't. And if you're a college kid on the college campus, living in the dorms, your ability to get a job that is more than 5 or 10 blocks away from campus is really difficult. You're gonna have to rely on friends, you're gonna have to rely on the bus, you're gonna have to rely on your bike, and when it rains or when friends aren't available or when the bus is late, you're gonna get fired. And so we kind of boiled the problem down. This is a college kid proximity issue. Either college kids don't know about the location that's across town, or they don't believe they can actually get there. But what if we turn this obstacle into a huge advantage? What if we solve it in a way that none of the other restaurants across town solve it? Because just think about it. While this restaurant is struggling across town to get applicants, all the restaurants around them are probably struggling as well. They're having the same challenges that this one location is having. So what if we solve our two core problems? That's what I boiled it down to. Core problem number one. What if college kids don't know about that location that's hiring because they don't go eat there on a regular basis? Problem number two. What if they can't figure out how to get there to work? Now, as a normal employer, you would stop there and say, that's not my problem. And you probably are right. It isn't your problem to figure out how job seekers get to work and how to get back. But if you're spending over $100,000 a year trying to solve it, clearly it is your problem. So that brings us down to our third step, right? We figured out the why. Why are applicants not applying? Well, maybe they don't know about the location, or maybe they don't know how to get there and back for work. Number two, what if? What if their lack of a car is causing this problem? And then we get number 3, how might we? How might we help college kids know about our job, know about the location, and understand that they could actually get back and forth to work? So I came up with a really crazy outside the box solution, and I built it in a couple different stages. I like to work in the software world, we call it MVP, minimally viable product. In business, we call it MVB, minimally viable business. And in this instance, it's MVS, minimal viable solution, right? We want to come up with a solution we can test. One of their ideas was, well, what if we offer tuition reimbursement? That's a great idea. We have these college kids. If we offer to reimburse their tuition, maybe that will get them to want to apply. Here's the problem. You're going to have to offer that to all of your employees. That's going to be extremely expensive. You wouldn't be solving your one little problem. You'll be solving all the problems. So instead, we need to focus on just this one problem. Here's my idea that I came up with. What if we provide transportation? It's really not that hard. We look at the minimum viable offer on that. There's Uber and Lyft. What if we hire people? They all work at the same time. We're going to hire 4 or 5 college kids who will work the same shift, who are able to ride Uber together, nice big black SUV, to take them to work and take them back at the same set times. It's insanely easy to test this out. You could do it by going to the college, putting up some signs, explaining to them that you have this offer, that you have a job that's available, where the location's at, and that you are providing transportation to and from the college. Since you're the only one doing it, you'd be cornering the market of those applicants. Because that's usually what happens is they say, well, nobody does that. Nobody doing it might make it seem like it's risky, but the opposite's true. If nobody's doing it and you do it, you're going to be the only one. You will have access to all these applicants who can't get across town by providing it. So my first minimal viable way to do it, use Uber. Clearly that's going to be the more expensive way. I think I figured that it was going to be about $10,000 a month to get college kids from campus over the location and back at the right shifts. You know one of the benefits of this? They'd all be on time to work because you're the one providing the transportation back and forth, right? Option 2, when you actually drill it down and want to save money, I figure you can do it for less than $2,500 a month. You buy a car. Better yet, buy a Tesla, right? Because nothing will elevate the appearance of this than having a nice car. Yeah, you could go get a 15-passenger van or some soccer mom's minivan to haul these kids back and forth to work. You could cram them all in your catering van that doesn't even have any seats, but besides it not being safe, it won't fix your second problem. The first problem was, how can we get them there and back? But the second problem was, how can we make sure they know about it so that it's something cool? So when I start with Uber, we start with an Uber Black. We start with a Cadillac Escalade or a really nice car. But when we actually drill down and do this, let's get a car that actually the kids will want to ride in. Nothing screams what's going on than a bunch of college kids hopping out of a Model X with doors up like wings, right? And so really great solution. Now, will it work? I don't know. You're going to have to test it out. I honestly believe this is a great solution for how you recruit from a college campus when you're not right next to it, especially when you're a restaurant. When everybody starts work at the same time, ends work at the same time, have similar qualifications, this will actually create team cohesion. These people will be working together. They'll be riding back and forth together. It seems like a great no-brainer solution. So that was the goal of today's blog. Explain a different way to approach problem solving. How do we get outside of the box? How do we think outside of the status quo or outside of what's normal? 3 simple steps. Ask why. Have to understand what the potential root causes of the problem are. Number 1, ask what if. What if the problem is college kids don't have cars? And finally, how might we? Come up with some brainstormed ideas of how might we get college kids over to location. The final step there is figure out how to do a minimum viable solution. How do we boil it down into something we can actually test without committing the organization to a change, without changing our benefits or perks and impacting everybody, without spending money or creating a situation that we can't stop? Find the minimal viable solution to test out. So that's today's hiring tip. Now, what I said, stick around to the end. I'll tell you about a tool. If you look below this video, you'll see a download for one of our tools. These tools will help you get started and jump-starting the results you get in 5 to 10 minutes. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it's going to solve a problem and get you on the pathway going forward. So I hope everything's going well for you, and good luck hiring.